I honestly didn't think that I would ever have to make a video like this, but clearly something has happened to my hair and I have to address it. I have to talk about it. Y'all know I recently got a silk press from a professional celebrity hair salon, and I told the hairstylist, I haven't gotten a silk press in over a decade. It's been a really long time. I just want to make sure that my curls revert back. I trust you, all these things, but clearly my hair did not revert. I washed my hair 3 times actually. It still was like lifeless and limp, and the curls did not come back from like ear to ear, so basically like the half of my head. And it's just been such a frustrating experience because this has never happened to me before in all my years of being natural, of all my years of ever straightening my hair. I've never experienced this much heat damage. Here's what I think happened. During the wash process, there was a hot oil treatment used, and I don't think it was completely washed out because the hairstylist mentioned it halfway through the blow dry process.
You can't hide it. You see me that? I love you. So if y'all won't look, and this, you know how you see girls who go like this, I got all that hair. Nah, sis, look at me. Look. Head down, still hang time. Head down, still hang time. You feel me? I ain't got a flex. Y'all see it.
Let's talk about why oil before a silk press equals heat damage waiting to happen. Number 1, oil plus high heat equals the frying pan effect. Go ahead and write that down. When you put oil on the hair and then apply direct heat from a flat iron, usually anywhere between 375 to 450 degrees Fahrenheit, the oil doesn't protect anything. It cooks the hair strand. Just like food in a frying pan, the oil heats up and transfers that intense heat directly into the cuticle and cortex. This often causes bubbling inside the strand. Water molecules flash boiling. I've told you about the hair shaft disorder that resembles bubbles in the video linked in the description box below, so hop into that. The next thing is weakening of protein bonds, and next up is going to be permanent damage that looks like dryness or breakage. Now when we're talking about heat damage and her hair and her curls not reverting back, that's what happened. 1000%. Now the woman that you're looking at right now, the only thing that is in her hair is leave-in conditioner, and we will hop into polymers and leave-in conditioners in a second, but let's get into the second reason that you adding oil to your hair before a silk press or before a blowout is one of the worst things you can do. Number 2 is this false protection layer. Many people think oil is a heat protectant, but oil don't actually shield you from heat. It doesn't form a shield against heat, you guys. Instead, they coat the hair and make it feel smooth temporarily. It doesn't do it permanently. It's a temporary fix, right? So make sure, if you haven't done so already, you head over to Amazon and download, what am I talking about? Purchase my new book, the 7-Day Challenge Journal. Okay, this is a book that you have to have, and it's not an ebook, it's one that you can hold in your hand. And don't take my word for it, make sure you head over there and read the reviews. We have great reviews over on Amazon, so make sure you check it out. You cannot miss out. Okay, I know some of you may not be able to afford to do the 7-day challenge yet, or maybe, girl, you just don't know me, so you're not ready for the Growth Cycle Blueprint or the 7-day challenge. Start here, okay? And start organizing your mind so that way you won't be so confused by all of the different things that are here on YouTube. But I digress. Let's get back into it. Why does oil give you this false protection layer? I told you, number 1 was the fact that it coats the hair temporarily, making it smooth, right? But it also amplifies heat conduction, making the iron hotter against the strand. You guys, it's the same thing. Put the same coconut oil that you put in your hair, put it in your skillet and see what happens. Why do you think it's happening differently in your hair? Next up is going to be that it traps heat on the cuticle, which increases the chances of burning. So to do a hot oil treatment before a silk press is one of the worst things you can do. You're literally calling heat damage in. I don't like hot oil treatments in general, but to do it before a silk press, it's like heat damage, come here. Number 3, why serums and leave-ins work way better than oil or grease ever could. Unlike oil, a professional serum or leave-in conditioner with heat-protectant polymers is designed for specific things. Number 1, it disperses heat evenly across the hair shaft. Number 2, it adds slip so that the flat iron glides without snagging, causing breakage. Number 3, it contains ingredients like silicones or quartz that withstand higher temperatures and create a protective barrier. It won't cook it or heat up with it and transfer the heat like oil will. It actually creates a barrier. Next up, it seals in moisture instead of trying to fry it out. Oils and serums are very different and they should not be used in replacement for each other, especially with any service that adds heat to your hair. Lastly, it's going to seal in moisture while keeping your hair from getting heat damage. This allows the silk press to last while still keeping the strands elasticity and shine intact. The bottom line for customers and people doing their own hair, oil equals frying your hair strands. Serum / leave-in with heat protected equals smooth, shiny, and safe hair with a safe silk press. See, the problem is most women, after they get through doing their team natural thing, or let's say you're not through and you just want to go in and you want to get a silk press, most of you have horrible experiences. But really quick, before we hop into that, have you guys seen this hype feature? Make sure you go and hype your girl up. We know that the algorithm messes with a lot of our channels, but if you find this video useful at all, just look at the bottom, well, not at the bottom of the screen, but at the bottom of this video, where you can like and comment and donate and share and all of those things. There's a button that says hype. Go ahead and hype this video up, you guys, and it lets YouTube know that you think that more people should see this video. Girl, hype me up. But anyway, when we're talking about getting our hair flat ironed, most people are under the impression that something so horrible has happened to their hair, but in reality, you're deducting all of the other things that you've done previously, right? So let's think about coconut oil for an example. Let's use coconut oil as an example. This beauty that you see here sitting in the chair, I'll put another video linked to us when I had to detox her hair, another video of me and her when I had to detox her hair, and that was because one of her main things that she put in her hair was coconut oil. And even though her hair looks really flowy in this video, she could have a whole lot more body, but the coconut oil was holding on for dear life. And why is that? Well, certain YouTubers that didn't know what they were talking about told you that you should use coconut oil in your hair because it locks in moisture. This is true. It does lock in moisture, but why does it lock in moisture? Well, the reason that coconut oil locks in moisture, right? And when I say lock in moisture, what I'm really saying is it binds water molecules inside of your hair shaft. That's what I'm saying. It binds water molecules to the inside of your hair shaft. That's all I'm saying. That's all it means, right? So when we are talking about coconut oil binds to protein. So if you just put coconut oil in your hair and you use a regular co-washing conditioner or shampoo, whatever y'all call that mist, or you use a regular shampoo, it's not going to come out. Even if it feels like it's coming out, it's not coming out. And your hair will have this illusion of slip, of feeling good, because it is slippery. Why? Because it has protein. The coconut oil, the molecules within the coconut oil, they bind to protein, and your hair is protein. That's why any professional cosmetologist will tell you, if you have coconut oil in your hair after, like, right when it's time to get a silk press, the silk press will look like complete and total mess. Complete and total mess, girl. But a lot of people don't understand that. And the same thing goes for like a hot 6 oil treatment or oil treatment. The majority of the oil treatments that they're doing now are with coconut oil or with castor oil or with oils that are really, really, really thick and binding to the hair's protein, right? To the hair. So what ends up happening is you have all of these oils that are locking in moisture. What these people are not explaining to you is they're not locking in moisture. They're creating a barrier on top of the hair shaft. And when that barrier comes in contact with heat, there is nothing that the cosmetologist can do to prevent you from getting heat damage, right? This is why when I was standing behind a chair, all of my clients for suit presses, we only met after consultation. Why? Because I didn't want to be held liable for their heat damage. And I would be held liable for their heat damage if I didn't ask them questions like, what oils and butters do you put in your hair? What greases do you put in your hair? And what would happen is if they said, oh, I put coconut oil in my hair, I have coconut oil in my hair right now, I would tell them that I'm not straightening their hair until after I have 3 appointments with them, where I'm able to detox their scalp and their hair shaft properly. And during those appointments, they were getting roller sets or flexi rod sets, but I was not putting heat to anybody's hair after they constantly put coconut oil in their hair over and over and over again, right? But this woman here in particular, even though she had put coconut oil in her hair, I was familiar with her hair. I was familiar with her patterns and routines with coconut oil. So I knew exactly what I had to do to strip it. But someone who I don't know, who I'm not familiar with, I didn't necessarily, I wasn't confident that they wouldn't have heat damage after I flat ironed their hair. And again, I don't know the woman in the very first video, so I won't speak on her practices prior, but the majority of team natural practices, the majority of women who wear their hair really, really big and curly, which is beautiful, right? The majority of your practices are heavy on oils and butters and all of these different products. Why? Because you believe that these things are actually going to cause your hair to look better or to be better. But the thing is, all you're doing is retaining length, which is amazing, right? I think that one thing that the Team Natural community taught Black women how to do is to retain length, but they only taught you how to retain length in one form: when your hair is curly. If you blow dry your hair or straighten your hair is finished. Why is that? That is because doing your practices, your patterns and routines, you are causing your hair and yourself massive hair shaft and scalp disorders. And that's why I'm constantly breaking all of these things down on my channel. But now, again, I have hundreds and hundreds of videos like this. I'm going to start adding them and doing voiceovers over my old hair videos for 2 reasons. The first reason is because I am a visual learner, so I think that it will help a lot of people if I give you visuals as I'm talking. And the second reason is because a lot of you are just now finding me, and because you're just now finding me, you're under the impression that I'm somebody who got behind a camera and just started talking to people so I can get views and likes and subscribers, but that's not a thing. Prior to me getting on YouTube, I was a licensed cosmetologist, one of the best in Vegas. You can still ask about me, world, but I really need y'all to know that my main specialty was curly hair, virgin hair. As a professional cosmetologist, I don't speak in natural or unnatural. No, regardless of the color of your skin, your hair comes in two forms. You either have virgin hair or chemically treated hair. There's nothing else. There's nothing else to describe the human hair shaft to me other than having virgin hair or chemically processed hair. This beauty right here has virgin hair, right? And again, this was at the end. I had already retired, so this was my friend Tiffany's room that I did hair in when I had my regulars that I really wanted to make sure they were okay. The ones that I wasn't ready to let go of. And she was one that I wasn't ready to let go of because she was still doing coconut oil stuff, but I digress. So these are things that I really, really want you to think about as we getting into her hair, right? Her hair is absolutely beautiful. Don't get me wrong, but she had a lecture before she left because we had to go in and give her another detox. But I also want you to look at her previous appointment, and I need you to see, that just because somebody has heat in their hair does not mean that their hair is damaged. Just because you put heat in your hair doesn't mean that you're no longer natural, because I don't know, as I look at her hair is still coming out of her scalp naturally, so it's still her hair. We need to release the fear of putting a blow dryer or anything like that in our hair, because the truth of the matter is, the clients that came to me that were natural, that hadn't put heat in their hair in years, that hadn't had heat in their hair in since forever ago, those were the women that I had to do big chops on. Those were the women that I had to do the most cuts on. Those were the women with the most drastic and severe hair shaft disorders. And so those are the things that I want you to think about. Don't get offended when you hear me say that. All I want you to do is really start looking into it. Instead of you spending all of this money on these hair products, why don't you try this? Why don't you get a microscope, right? There are microscopes that you can get at home, right? There are microscopes that you can get at home, and with this microscope you can look at your hair shaft and you can look at your scalp and you can see what's really going on. Because the truth of the matter is, most of you will start using some of the professional products that we're gonna switch to another person, I promise. I just didn't want to edit all of this out, right? But I just need y'all to know that whenever you are going and looking into different things, when we're talking about, looking at your scalp, looking at your hair shaft, you need to not just put all of these products on your hair, because most of the time when y'all listen to a professional cosmetologist tell you, like, okay, start trying these professional products. Instead of using these products, try using professional products. And a professional product doesn't mean that, the girl who does your hair, her name's on the bottle, so that's what makes it a professional product. No, I mean professional products that professionals are using inside of Cosmoprof, that you have to have a cosmetology license to walk into. Some of those products are available on Amazon. Some of them are available here on the screen that I'm going to refer to you. That is what I'm talking about. And when we're talking about professional products, right? Let's say BioSilk, for example. If you buy a shampoo and conditioner and a leave-in conditioner from BioSilk, it'll be maybe, I'll say maybe a good $45 if you get like the bundle. And that will last you for months. The only time it's lasting a couple of weeks is when you're using entirely too much product, which is what happened with most women in the Team Natural community. This is not coming from a woman who's mad, seeing versus them. Girl, bye. I am a scientist, and as a scientist, when I sit down and I look at the data, the women who put product after product after product after product in their hair and then went to go get their hair done, those were the women who had heat damage. That is why you have heat damage, because you've been layering product after product on your hair. You don't use sulfate shampoo anymore, so your hair is not being properly cleansed, and you still have layers of those oils and butters on the hair. And I can guarantee you, if you put coconut oil in your hair at any point, if you put a flat iron in your hair and you have not had an extreme detox regimen for your hair shaft, I can almost guarantee you will get heat damage. It is a fact. So this is why conversations like, oh, flat irons are damaging, is so annoying, because flat irons are not damaging. The preparation is damaging. And the reason that so many people are getting damaged for lack of proper preparation is because you guys are learning from YouTubers. Today in 2025, the women that you guys have been learning, the men and women that you've been learning from for, like, let's say the past 10 years, are just now going to cosmetology school right now. Whether they went to cosmetology school in the past or not is irrelevant, because I'll tell you, as a person who's been a licensed cosmetologist for over a decade, my first two to 3 to 4 years in the industry, girl, I ain't know nothing. I was just getting my feet wet. So if you don't even have a cosmetology license, if you didn't even get in a chair and get behind a chair and start taking clients and things of that nature, you do not have the room to speak on the field of cosmetology at all, because you know nothing. And this is coming from a person who was a licensed performing cosmetologist at the top of my field before I retired. And I'm telling you, the first 3 to 4 years, you know nothing. Nothing. You think you know everything, girl. You think you know everything. You don't know anything. But the further you go, the more clients you have, the more repetitive your cycles become. Then you become more familiar with your craft. And that's the same thing for anything. Why do we deduct hair from any other profession? Your first 2 to 3 years as a doctor, you're not the best doctor in your field. You may think that you are. But the type of professional that you are at year 3 and the type of professional you are at year 15 are night and day. And I'm telling you that the majority of you have been following women and talking to women that are on year 1 to 2, or they haven't even started yet. They just went to cosmetology school. That's it. They just read the book. That's it. But without application, it means nothing. You go to cosmetology school to learn the things that you apply, but your application and your professionalism and your expertise and your ability to put master before the word cosmetologist comes from years and years of over a decade of experience. I say all the time, nobody should be putting master in front of their name until they've had at least a decade of experience in this industry, because it's constantly shifting. So these are the things that I want you to think about. A professional cosmetologist that has been in the industry for a while would never give you a flat iron and a hot oil treatment on the same day. Why? Because she's seasoned and she's made these mistakes before. I'm not saying this because I'm better than you. I'm saying that at the beginning of my career, when I didn't know any better, I gave somebody a hot oil treatment and a flat iron on the same day. I did that. The difference is, good for me, this person was not natural and trying to retain her curls, but they didn't come back. She just didn't care. She was excited. She was like, oh my God, ever since you did that, my hair hasn't been as curly. She was excited about it. It doesn't change the fact that I didn't want it to happen. But that was what no, that was when I was in cosmetology school. Yeah, so that should tell you something right there. Because just because you're in cosmetology school does not mean that you are doing everything right. Yeah, the instructors are there to watch you to make sure you don't do anything wrong chemically, but there are also women, like for example, let's say some of the same people who taught you how to do rice water and put rice water in your hair, that same woman who made rice water go viral, right? And everybody knows what rice water did to the scalps of black women or the scalps of people everywhere. But that same woman can say, you know what, I want to go to cosmetology school. And she can go to cosmetology school, and then after she goes to cosmetology school, all she has to do, depending on the state that she is in, is wait approximately like a year, and then she can go take a class and she can become an instructor. And then, depending on the school that she goes to, if she's a black woman and she's the only black instructor there, they will respect her so much for being a black woman that they will allow her to teach random stuff and put the label on it as a cultural practice. And nobody's going to check her about the misinformation that she's spreading in cosmetology school because she's the only black woman there. And she's going to tell them that culturally these are the things that they're supposed to do. It's the same thing that they do here on YouTube. That is why it was so easy for YouTubers to limit my channel's reach, because me saying the things that I'm saying, it limits their pockets. But it's so unfortunate, because as their pockets are increased by you guys listening to them and following their regimens, so are mine. Because YouTube is not my primary job. My primary job is treating the scalp and follicle and hair shaft disorders that happen due to people not listening to what I say in my videos. So whether you listen to me or not, I win, right? If you do listen to me, right, then oh my God, I feel so good because mission accomplished. But if you don't listen to me, you have to come pay me thousands upon thousands of dollars to reverse the damage that you've done. So I want to ask you again, why does it make sense to fight against people who actually went to school to learn this information? Yes, some of these things are true, but it's just like anything else. People are always able to manipulate you when they mix the lies up with bits and pieces of truth. So yes, absolutely. A flat iron can be extremely damaging. Oh my God, yes, it can. But there are certain patterns and routines that you follow that prevent it from being damaging. Because there is a group of women, they use flat irons and blow dryers, like, not daily. That's bad for anybody to flat iron their hair daily, regardless of what you put on it, regardless of your preparation. But there are women who blow dry and flat iron twice a week, and their hair sometimes is curlier than it was before they started. It's a thing. And there's also another group of women that as soon as a flat iron touches their hair, their curls never come back, their hair breaks off, it falls off, they get all types of inflammation. Well, guess what? You want to know something else that happens? When you heat up oil, when you use oil on your hair and then you put a flat iron to it, what happens is that oil, it oxidizes. And when it oxidizes, it causes oxidative stress on the follicle. Yeah. And so then you run into dandruff, seborrheic dermatitis. Why would oil on the hair cause dandruff on the scalp? Well, when you cause oxidative stress to the scalp, to the follicle, it starts to defend itself. So by defending itself, your body sends a mental note to the hormones to start producing more cortisol. And as your body produces more cortisol, your body also produces more sebum, way more sebum than you need. And then from there, you start noticing flakes on the scalp, which you view as dry scalp. It's not dry scalp. When you have dandruff, your skin cell turnover cycle is being increased. So instead of your skin cell turnover cycle happening every 28 days like it's supposed to, it's happening every week. And if you put oil on it, it starts getting even worse. Then you have seborrheic dermatitis. And then instead of your skin cell turnover cycle happening every week, like it was happening with the dandruff, which is still bad, it's happening every other day. Because the sebum production is so wild. Why is that happening? It is because you use heat during your blowout. Lord. You use oil during your blowout. You use oil during your flat iron, and it causes oxidative stress to the follicle. It's the small foxes that kill the mommy. You guys are looking for this big, huge thing. Oh my God, it was the flat iron. Oh my God, it was this. No. It was the patterns that you've been following. They're the patterns that Team Natural taught you, that you thought that just because you tried it one day, it went away. No, it didn't work like that. When you use things like flax seeds in your hair, when you use things like coconut oil in your hair, these are the things. Even the shea butter that is available on Simple Apothecary, I have very specific directions on it. You're even getting an informational card with my shea butter. It is not to be used before a blowout. It is not to be used before a flat iron. Absolutely not. It is used in a very specific way, a very specific amount. And if you use any more than that, it is on you. If you do anything else than that, it is on you. I even have that on the website. I'm protected 1000%. These are the things that I need y'all to understand. Products are tools. And if you decide to use a tool in a way that it was not constructed for, then whatever happens is on you. And these are the things that I really want us to understand. This woman that you're looking at right now, the only thing that is on her hair is leave-in conditioner. That's it. That's it. Leave-in conditioner. And then as I'm flat ironing her hair, I am spraying a heat protectant. That's it. That's all. And after I get done flat ironing her hair, I'm going to add a little bit of serum, simply because she has high porosity hair. And if I don't, her hair is going to get frizzy in a minute. So I'm going to not permanently, but temporarily lay down her cuticle by adding a little bit of a serum, and that will close her cuticle under the dryer with cool air. Remember that hot water or hot air is going to be the thing that opens the cuticle, and the cooler air, cooler water is going to be the thing that closes it. So she's going to go under the dryer with cool air. I really hope that makes sense. So when we're demonizing tools, when we're demonizing products, I need you to understand that I'm not saying don't ever touch oil. Oils are the devil. No, oils are a tool. And just because you like the way that oils smell, and just because you think that oils are more natural than serums, does not mean that you can use them however you want. The majority of black women that have heat damage because they either put a bunch of oil in their hair, or they went to a professional that does not know what they're doing. Just because somebody has a cosmetology license does not mean that they're a great cosmetologist. Just because somebody has a cosmetology license does not mean that they have reached the pinnacle of the education platforms in cosmetology or in trichology or dermatology for that matter. It doesn't mean that they've opened the door to understand these things. These are all things that you have to go deeper and deeper and deeper into to further your education. So I really hope that made sense. And in not in my next video, but coming really soon, so far I have 3 scientists on deck for you. Well, 2. I'm working on the last one. I added the one that I'm working on to the channel already. But the other 2 are women, but I'm so excited about this one because I want you all to hear from a man, right? And what a man thinks about this. And I just found out he's actually a barber. So I think that that's going to be a great conversation, right? And then my other 2, one, she's a dermatologist, and then the other one, she's a cosmetologist and trichologist. So everybody will be coming to the table. We're all going to be having these conversations, and we all have the same theory, right? I think that over the years on my channel, you guys have a really big, really good idea of the things that I don't agree with, right? I think we went over all of those things already. I think that I've done enough there, right? I don't see any more anything fulfilling in constantly telling you the things that I don't agree with. You know that.